Hello, people. It is me, Cub. Yeah, I'm finally back doing a pony video. It's actually been a year now. Actually a bit ashamed to admit that. I promised a bit, but didn't really deliver because, life. And with exams coming, I might not even be able to deliver much now at the moment, but I'm gonna do my best. With a start with this video. So, something I should probably address is I'm finally actually not just going off my head. I don't have a script per se, but I've written notes of what I'm talking about, so I'm not just going off memory because my memory's terrible. And also, I'm now reducing the amount of frames I put into my videos because that takes way too long. Okay? That just hurts my head to do. May seem like I'm reducing what I'm doing, and because I have to study and all that, yeah, I kinda have to. Maybe once I'm done with that, I can up them a bit more, do more, but until then, you're stuck with simple stuff. But I'm hoping what I explain you can visualize in your head. In which we shall begin. Right now, what are we talking about today? Vehicles in G5. Where are they? Well, they're there. We've seen examples of 3 vehicles so far. Izzy's motorbike thingy, the tram, and the Mairstream, which was a tram but got turned into the Mairstream. Now, the bike and the tram itself, there's no issue with. The Mairstream, though, I have already gone over that. So we won't delve much into that. But what I will do today is go over my ways that instead of talking about the issues, I talk about how they could be improved and how I think the infrastructure vehicle should be in G5. So let's begin. So here we have a map of G5 of how I think it should be. Yes, my humble opinion. I I basically just tried to base it off what my experience with things, what I think it could look like with G5's more sort of looks like our technology but also doesn't. Take the airport I made at Zephyr Heights. That is based off the Just Cause 3 styled runways where they have them raised on like concrete pillars. I really like that idea and I think it actually works really well on Zephyr Heights. It just wouldn't be as big as on the map because, things always appear bigger on a map because that's just how maps work. I don't know. I'm not a map person. What can I say? Yeah, everything is labeled here if you want to take a look on the map, but I will go over some things quickly. So, ports. First of all, those are for direct thing between either each port transporting heavy cargo or between other land, because I believe there are some. Right. Next off, the rail system. I don't know enough about rail systems really to give much of a thing, so the pink line is dedicated to rail. And just have a look at it if you want. I've labelled some of it as well as I can. The loop bit though is based off GTA 5's tramway at the airport, if you really want to know that, I don't know. The standard airstrip near Maritime Bay, that's just a random airstrip, nothing special. It's just the lifted road near Zephyr Heights, that would sort of just go around the mountain, like slowly raise up against it. Not at the inclination I have there, obviously, that's ridiculous, but it would just gradually raise up. The observatory, that's high up in the mountains, whatever those are. I think those are mountains, I hope so. I don't know enough about G5 to know what those are. I watch I've watched G5. It just goes in one ear out the other. But it's about vehicles today, not law. Yeah, we don't care about law right now. So, observatory would be high up in the mountains because it avoids as much atmosphere as possible. And the space center is just sort of where I could put it. Okay, so enough about that for now. Next off, we're going to talk about each kind of vehicle in its own segment and how I think they would be different to our world. So, I keep saying so much, I'm sorry, but yeah, you get my point. Cars. What do I think they'd be like? I believe you wouldn't have stuff like muscle cars, like Dodgers. They're too, how do I put it? Not violent, but more just, what's the word? Like, serious. They're also just too powerful. Ponies don't need that much power. They're not really into like drag racing like we are. I think. Don't don't quote me on that one. You never know what kind of speed demons are there, but I'm gonna put my bets on that. And also, I reckon their racing in general would be different. Like you wouldn't have NASCAR or whatever you call it in America. It's the way it is, or banger racing. You wouldn't have that, obviously, because it involves destruction. They're not going to want that, are they? Right. We're done with cars for now. I know, sure, but basically they just have more bubbly design. That's pretty much the premise of all the vehicles. Like, less machine looking, more just kid friendly, I don't know. Right. Planes. So, planes are the one that I obviously know best of. So, what do I think they'd be like? I believe they wouldn't have the large planes we do because of their limited airstrip space. Like the AN225, they wouldn't have something that large. They'd have something probably about as maximum size as the C-130. That's where I'd put it. Now, what else would we have? Their weaponry. I believe like fighter jets and all that would be more magic orientated instead of conventional weapons like missiles and guns. I don't think they'd use those. Which, yeah, is obvious, but you get my point. Boats. Boats, there is really not much I can talk about, because honestly, they don't change much. We've seen boats in MLP before. They were pretty much how we had them in our world, in the pirate ships. I'd imagine they evolved the same way, but again, more bubbly. Yeah, that's how I'm referring to that as bubbly. That's what I wrote down in my notes. Okay. I but yeah, but I also think their ships would the ships would still be the giant ones you find today. I don't believe the ships would get downsized like the planes because they don't need to. The ports could possibly support them fine. Trains. Trains is again like boats. I don't know as much as I do about cars and planes for them. But I know enough to give you a rough idea of what I think. I believe they would have more chunky designs instead of these streamlined things like the Class 373 or 390. And I believe freight trains would look a bit more dumbed down, I suppose, is a good way of saying it. Because they in real life, they look so, like, industrial. I don't think that you'd find that sort of train in G5. Because why would they want industrial stuff? Look at their towns. They're all fancy. You don't want that. Last but not least, we have space travel. Despite belief, I do have sufficient knowledge for this one. Right. I believe they would still have rockets, but not in the way we do. I believe their space travel would be focused around reusable and SSTOs. Reusable rockets first would go over. Like, I don't know, Falcon Heavy and all that, but they'd have all the stages recovered because they don't they care a lot more about their land than we do by the looks of it. I mean, look at it, it's all happy and all that. Peaceful. Besides the town areas, but they don't let it spread beyond that. So they're not going to want to go dropping, like, side boosters all over the place, are they? So they're going to try and recover them, which, understandable. But what if they don't want to go through that trouble? What if they just want to bring it in one piece? That's what SSTOs are. SSTO is single stage to orbit. It doesn't necessarily have to be orbit though, it could be anywhere. It just has to get to orbit. But that means it doesn't drop any stages. It just goes the whole thing there to destination, whole thing comes back. Simple. They don't need to worry about dropping stages because they're not dropping any. They're just taking the whole thing. It also then means it's just a bit more, I don't know, safe? Yeah, we'll go with that. And as much as I hate to say it, I think that's all I've really got to say. Another thing I seem to have forgotten to mention in the intro as well, though, is yeah, no more subtitles. I hated those. I hated typing them, and now I can actually talk on a decent microphone. Granted, it's just earphones, but you know, £6 does the job. So I hope you enjoyed it. It wasn't really my finest work, this video, but I enjoyed making it, and I hope I can bring more to you whenever. Really, I'm not gonna make promises I can't keep, but I hope I can at least possibly give you stuff. We live on possibility. See you all next time. Goodbye.